In today's video, I give you 5 Luton Town players that I think need to step up for the remaining of this season if Luton are going to be playing Championship football next year. Now, I know what you're thinking, Lewis, they all need to step up. I agree. But in this video, I've picked out 5 players and I wanted to speak about in a little bit more detail. So I'm going to start off by talking about Hashioka. Now, Hashi for me is someone we signed in a, I guess, awkward time at the football club. It was in the Premier League season. Of course, some of us, and I was one of those, were vocal about needing to bring in more players in that January transfer window during the Premier League season. We didn't do that, and because we didn't do that, Hashi ended up playing as a right-sided centre-back in a back three. I don't think him playing as a centre-back is his correct position, and I do think majority of his games in a Luton Town shirt has been played out of position. In Belgium, he did play as a right-back or as a right wing-back, so I do feel a little bit sorry for him because he is playing out of position. Under Matt Bloomfield, we're going to be playing 4 at the back. So Hashi will be playing more in his natural position. There's definitely a few areas of his game he needs to work on, and I do hope we start seeing the real reason of why we brought him to the football club. But to be fair, I think his best game in a Luton shirt was against Preston. I thought it was one of the best games I've seen from him, but we need to be seeing more types of those performances. Luton fans online have questioned the quality in our right back department. Walters is young, he is still learning, but Hashi, he's 25 years old. He turns 26 at the end of the season. He's played over 200 games in his football career, so we should be seeing the best of him now. I do think he needs to improve his concentration. It's something that definitely needs a lot of work on. I do think he gets caught because he's ball watching, and he needs to stop that. He needs to start watching players' movement off the ball. Also, his passing ability, I do think needs to be a little bit better. We don't need to be going long all the time. We can go short. Let's try and keep possession of the ball. We don't have to be going long now. We can start playing pretty stuff. We've got the players to do it. We've got the attacking players to do it. Get the ball to our attacking players. Play the ball on the ground. No need to keep going long. We don't have 2 target man type of strikers up top anymore. Only go long when it's right to do so. And also, I do think he needs to be stronger on the ball. I've been vocal about this, I think, throughout his whole time being a Luton Town player. I do think he tries to win too many cheap fouls, and I do think he should be a lot stronger when holding the ball up. Overall, I do think Hashi needs to improve now he's playing in his correct position. Moving on to our midfield, and I've picked 2 players in our midfield that need to start turning up. Walsh and Baptiste. No surprise that these 2 names have been mentioned. 2 players that have frustrated Luton fans. Baptiste due to the amount of injuries, and Walsh due to the suspensions. But let's start talking about Baptiste. I've heard Rob Edwards and also Bloomfield talk about how good of a player Baptiste is. So let's start seeing it. We signed him from a Premier League side in Brentford, so he of course has the quality. Brentford don't just sign players for the sake of it. They are very data driven. They look at good players, and you've seen their rise up the Football League, how they're doing in the Premier League. There was a particular reason why Baptiste was signed by Brentford. We're just not seeing it in a Luton shirt. He does have the quality. I don't think managers come out and speak highly of a player if he didn't have that quality. He must have something about him, and we have seen it in glimpses, but not enough, not over a 90-minute game. We need to be seeing more. And I do think he's got the quality in his locker when he's fully fit, the passing range, the dribbling ability. I think he can unlock a few opportunities for us, but we're not seeing it. And I do think under Matt Bloomfield's style of football, he will excel in it, especially now we are playing with wide attackers. However, these injuries have just got to stop. What is he doing behind the scenes? Is he looking after himself? Are we managing him correctly? I do think going forward under Matt Bloomfield, we are going to manage players from injury a lot better, so we should start seeing players not breaking down after coming back from a recent injury, and hopefully he can start playing games in a Luton shirt, because the whole point of him signing for Luton was he wanted to play football. Well, you're not playing football. He's featured in 11 games so far this year, not enough, and he's only started 7 out of those 11 games. He needs to do better, and I think for me his best game was against Hull in our 1-0 home win. But he only played 55 minutes. And then talking about Liam Walsh, if he didn't get sent off twice, I think I would like him a little bit more. I do think there is something also about him. I think he's a really good passer off the ball. I do think he can split teams open from his passing range, but we're not seeing it enough. Now, to be fair to him, he has been available recently, but he's just not been playing. He's featured 12 times so far this year, but only started 4 games. I do think he should have started a couple more games, but he has missed 7 games due to being suspended. You can't be doing that. He does like to commit, he does like to get involved in a challenge, but he's got to be a little bit smarter with these challenges which he likes to put in. Don't need to be as aggressive, you can be a bit smart about it. You can get stuck in, but get stuck in the correct way. But I do think we should start seeing more of Walsh. Recently, the way Luton have been playing, I do think we've been going long far too often. Since Matt Bloomfield has come to the football club, we should be playing the ball on the ground. Walsh is the perfect type of player to help us do that. And lastly, moving on to our strikers. Of course, I was going to talk about Morris and Elijah Adebayo, but let's talk about Elijah first. I do think he's been absolutely awful this year. From someone who has done well in the Championship and also last season in the Premier League, he has not done the job. Even since Matt Bloomfield has come to the football club, we've not seen enough from him. Some of his performances I just think have been way below par. If you look at the stats as well and you look at his XG, he should have scored at least 11 goals. He scored 5. He's featured in 29 games for us this year. He started 24 games. From someone, as I've already mentioned, who scored double figures in the Premier League, you expect a lot better than what we've seen so far. He needs to be a lot more clinical in front of goal, and he needs to stop being offside. I think his offside awareness is so poor. Sometimes when we do go long to him, he's in an offside position and then it gives the ball back to the other team and then we're having to regain possession again. I do think he does work hard off the ball, but sometimes I think he's actually comes across in the wrong way, and it might seem from the stands or if you're watching on TV that he's not trying. I do think he is, but his body language is all off. Now we've signed our new striker from Norway in Lasse Nordahl. There's not going to be many opportunities. We've got 3 strikers, Morris, Elijah and Lasse Nordahl. If our strikers are not going to be performing, they're going to be heavily rotated. But all it takes is one of them to start finding the net and he might stay in the team from now until the end of the season. There's not many games left. So if this new striker doesn't up Elijah's game, I don't know what will, and we could be saying goodbye to him in the summer. And if I'm being honest with you, I won't be disappointed. And then let's talk about Carlton Morris. I think out of the 2 strikers between Elijah and Morris, I do think Morris has been the better player. 10 goal contributions so far this season, 7 goals and 3 assists. Morris is actually one of the best strikers in the air. That's according to the stats. He wins the most out of all the Championship strikers in the air. But I do think we're going long to him far too often, so he has more attempts at trying to win the ball in the air. He also loses a lot of battles as well, but he does win his fair share. I do think we're going long to him far too often. We don't need to do that. Let's play the ball on the ground. Morris, for me, is most dangerous when he's in the box. I want to see him having a couple shots every game. I think his finishing is actually quite good, and if he had half the attempts which Elijah Adebayo has had this season, I think we would have scored far more goals. He is a lot better in front of goal. As captain, he needs to start leading from the front. He needs to be leading by example. When I look at previous players that have led the football club and showed some good leadership, they've done it by putting in good performances. We need to see you dribbling past players, trying to make things happen, and then getting on the ref's back when he's not giving decisions our way. That's what I want to see more of. But overall, I want to see better performances from Morris. I want to see him start scoring a lot more goals. I want to see him in the box when he's at his most dangerous. He's proven in the Championship. He scored goals in the Championship. Well, let's start seeing more goals. Because if we don't start scoring, we are not going to be staying up in the Championship this year. So overall, that is the end of the video. I've given you 5 players which I think need to step up from now until the end of the season. Let me know which players you think need to step up. I know some of you are going to say the whole squad. Just pick me out a couple of players, tell me why, and let me know down in the comment section of the video. Drop a like on today's video if you did enjoy it. Subscribe to my channel if you are new, and I'll see you guys in my next video.